the Eagles, it felt like they like took the best punch the Rams could give them.
Right.
And it just wasn't enough. There's only so much the Rams can do. And you and I were both struggling last week. Do we pick the Rams? Do we pick the Eagles? And I was leaning Rams a little bit. And I thought of Saquon Barkley. That was the thing. It's like, hey, the Rams have that defense that could really harass Jalen Hurts and make it hard for him. It's like, oh, wait, the Eagles have Saquon Barkley.
The Eagles is just it's a talented future for that defensive front of the Rams, right? They got some young talented guys for sure. But like I think we're trying to explain to people, this Eagles offensive line it's special. And you got to have a special D-line. And the Rams, too, are not a real big D-line. They're a little bit of a chaos speed creation type of D-line, right? That's what they do. And that could be dangerous in a game like playing the Eagles with this run game and these big guys and Saquon Barkley. Just think about it. Hey, everybody slant to the left here on this run play, the defensive line. Oh, they happen to call the right play where they're blocking that way too. Now you're like way out of there and there's a huge hole. So there were some disadvantages there, but the Rams play tough. They're certainly not out of this either, as we know with the NFC West. The defense, it plays hard. It doesn't have big-time difference makers yet at all three levels. It's really just some of the young rookie guys, and our man Kobe Turner are the guys that you speak of as far as front seven. Offensively, we know they're good on the offensive side of the ball, but again, the Eagles are a tough match for anybody. Their D-line is as big and as deep as anybody in football. Their linebacker play is good, and Vic Fangio, I think that's the other thing we got to hit on, is the Eagles, a year after Vic Fangio kind of got run out of Miami by the players and all that, the players in Philadelphia.
He never wanted to be there.
Well, I don't think he wanted to be there
Vic Fangio
it was everything.
Fell victim to the old school, I gave my word, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to understand, even though I gave my word, there's something that's off here. Like, I shouldn't come here. That was the whole Jonathan Gannon tampering. If the Eagles had known Gannon was going to leave, they would have made Fangio the defensive coordinator. But and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you got to give Nick Sirianni credit because it was going sideways for him last year.
Right.
And out goes both coordinators.
Yeah.
In come Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, and we were skeptical early. They were 2-2. They went back to Tampa right before their bye week and got embarrassed. It's like, this isn't going to end well for Nick.
Right.
They got their crap together
They did.
during the bye week, and they haven't lost a game since then.
Haven't lost it. Vic Fangio, the defense have just gotten better and better. We talked about their front seven. It's off the charts good. The young guys in the secondary, they're Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, of course, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay are really good. Reed Blankenship to go along with it. They got everything. And the one thing I worried about last night in the matchup a little bit was Vic Fangio so famous for his zones and passing people off in coverage and doing that. And I went, that could be dangerous against the Rams. McVay, Stafford, we talk about it all the time. They're creative. They'll find ways to spread out a zone and have a guy sit in the middle and just kind of surgically pick you apart all day. But it looked like the Eagles also last night played more man-to-man, certainly in the first half, where it took some of that away. L.A. adjusted. They hung around for a little while, but like we see a lot of weeks, it's kind of this unimpressive. They just lean on you and they wear you out, and you don't go, it doesn't look sexy and awesome. But okay, they're up by 7. Okay, they're up by 10. And then all of a sudden the dam starts to break with the other football team. And just the size and physicality of the Eagles, just like what happens, I think, with the Lions, it starts to wear the other team out. And you start to see, oh, no, look, he's wide open. Oh, my gosh, the gap in the running game is big time. And that's where they're special and, I think on another level than a lot of teams in football.
One of the reasons I enjoy being able to watch carefully a Monday night and a Thursday night game, because those are the only 2 nights of the week where we really can do it. Yeah. On Sunday, it's a cluster. On Sunday night, we're doing other things while the game is going on. Chris is doing his podcast. I'm doing the FNI podcast with the rest of the crew, and you miss little things. And there's that one moment where the air goes out of the balloon.
Right.
Or the turning point here, or one thing like every game comes down to 3 to 5 to at the most 7 or 8 moments.
Right.
But
I think you're right.
Accumulation of them determines.
Yeah.
And there's always that one. And there was something last night because this happened Thursday night. We need to address this.
Okay, let's do
before
it.
the show, you and I weren't completely versed on it. Gary helped get us up to speed. PFT crew got me up to speed. I saw the tail end of it.
Right.
Okay. 2:26 left in the third quarter.
27-14, right?
It's 27-14.
Right.
3rd and 3, the Rams have the ball on the Eagles' 14. incomplete pass to Puka Nacua. Offensive holding is called against the Rams.
Yeah.
Originally, Nick Sirianni, the coach of the Eagles, declines it. But he waits until he sees the Rams are eschewing the field goal and going for it.
Right.
Then he changes his mind and takes it.
Right.
And they let him take it.
Too much time has gone by.
Right. Because there's a point where, and we say this all the time with the Picks podcast, you take your hand off the checker.
Yeah.
When you've declined it and they're going to go for it, I don't think you should be able to change your mind. So he changes his mind. They enforce the penalty. 3rd and 13. Matthew Stafford sacked for a 5-yard loss.
Right.
47-yard field goal.
Missed
wide
it.
Right.
Right.
And that's air out of the balloon.
Right.
Night. And this happened on Thursday night, kind of, with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
On that controversial intentional grounding that, by the way,
was intentional.
It was intentional grounding.
Right.
NFL, you can twist yourself in knots all you want. You can put Walt Anderson on NFL Network and give him like 30 seconds to explain it. It's not going to work. You're not going to convince me. We know it when we see it. It was intentional grounding. But on that same play, there was illegal touching. And Mike Tomlin, it was like back and forth. What do we do? Does he take it? Does he not take it? Here's what the league told me because I asked about
Good
that.
job.
Wow, great job pulling that up because they had no idea I was going to go there. I said to the league, what basically is the protocol for a coach like Mike Tomlin deciding, do I take it, do I not take it, do I decline it, do I accept it? Said the league, the officials do allow the coach to change his mind in terms of whether to accept or decline a penalty within a reasonable period of time, all at the judgment of the referee. And again, in the age of legalized gambling, I don't want anyone to have too much judgment. I don't want anyone to have too much discretion. And whatever the proper line is,
Yeah.
they were on the wrong side of it last night.
Right.
They let Sirianni
That was way
have
too
too
long.
much time.
Way too long.
And this is one of the benefits, potentially,
Yeah.
of having a reputation for like blowing a gasket and yelling at everybody like Sirianni does. Because maybe they gave him a little more time because we don't want to deal with this.
Well, maybe because
guy.
he threw a challenge flag on the field at one point during the game.
That's right.
And, I mean,
And they blew it.
It was like he
So,
threw it 10 seconds before the snap was, and they
so
still
we
let the
owe
play
this
go
guy.
on. Right.
And those things factor into the
Right.
interactions throughout a game, but they gave him way too much. I think that's a point where the referee needs to say, sorry, Nick, sorry, you can't. You don't get to see. This isn't like the timeout you call the Kodak timeout,
Right.
so you can see what the offense or the defense is doing on a key play.
Right.
That's not. If you're using accept or decline for that, that's wrong. We've never seen that. That's not a strategic aspect of football. Hey, we would have heard it at some point in the last 50 years.
That's why it doesn't happen.
We're going to
Generally,
decide whether to
right.
accept or decline based upon whether or not they're going to go for it. If you accept, okay, well, then I decline. Okay,
Yeah.
well, no, wait, now I accept. Now I see what you're going to do. That you shouldn't. You should have to make that decision without knowing what the other team is going to do.
100% agree with everything you're saying here. And the reason we haven't talked about it and ever really been a thing.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen
Exactly.
because it's an unwritten rule of the NFL that kind of like when the referee starts to stand out on his own and make the call, that's it. You've done that. And he made the call, talked to the refs again, told the people to get in the huddle. We're getting ready to set play for 4th down. And then came back on and changed it, basically.
And they're walking up to the line. Yeah,
Right.
they're walking up to
Yeah.
the line. That's and
Yes,
I don't know.
That's against the spirit of the rule there,
Do you
for
fault
sure.
Sirianni for doing it because it worked? I don't know.
I don't fault Sirianni. I don't fault anybody within the competition world there like that. Like, okay, he said that. This is where the
let me
NFL and
do
the
it.
referee
Yeah,
has
that's
to
right.
go, hey, I'm the referee. And no, you've already accept or declined the penalty. They've already put personnel on the football field, and they're getting ready to break the huddle. It's too late. I'm sorry about that.
Worst they can do is tell me no.
That's right.
Just like Jameis Winston. I don't fault him for intentionally grounding it the other night. He was going to get
Just
sacked
trying
by
to
Patrick
survive.
Queen. He gets
He's
rid
just
of the
trying to
ball,
make
and
it
he got
happen.
lucky.
That's right. He's just trying to make it happen. But yeah, those are things that like you always say, and you're always on top of that. In the legalized gambling world and the world we're in right now, they got to get stuff like that.
That's
fixed
got a
out.
bad. That's just got a bad look to it.
The Eagles, they missed the field goal. They go get a field goal, right? They go up 16, have a chance. It still becomes a 2-score game. The Rams drive back down the football field. They end up coming away with nothing, turning the ball over on downs, and that's when Saquon broke the last run there. Either way, but I hear you. That's not good football. It's not good for business. They got to fix
And
that.
whenever something like that happens, you got to go back to that moment in the game and redo it. Here's what I'm looking at it here. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Eagles ended up They did get a field goal.
They won the field
They did
goal.
get a field
That's what
goal.
made it
That's
30 to
right, and made it
14.
30-14.
Right.
So it is still a two-score game.
Right. Rams drove way back down, then turned it over
Okay.
on downs,
And
and
then,
then Saquon broke it open.
But still, you make it 27-17.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right. Right.
You make it 27-17. Eagles get the ball. It's just everything. It's a different vibe altogether than, hey, we got lucky here. We kind of dodged a bullet here.
Sure.
We kind of got away with one. And you have a little different swagger, a little different lift. Like, hey, this is kind of going our way. And that may be a moment where the Rams are like, oh, this just didn't.
No,
sit in our night.
No, they were fighting an uphill battle at that point anyways. It felt like they were just trying to survive, trying to hang on. Can we stay in this game, stay a score, 2 scores in it, and then hope they make a mistake or something like that to give us an extra possession and do all that. But, the attack as far as Stafford and the people he had around him as the game continued to go on, because they were down, they probably had to throw it a little more than they would like. And then, this is the Rams and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. They usually third down are a handful. They couldn't do anything on third down in this game, again, because of that pass rush of the Eagles, and they got people on the backside or the back end that can go, no, we'll play you man-to-man, or we can play some cool zone. They can do it all, and that's why the Eagles are awesome, and fly, Eagles, fly.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.